What does it mean to live fully alive?
We're going to find out in an interview today, starting in about 22 seconds.
Live life, see the good days in it, just live. Live life, see the good days, see the good days, follow your potential. And live life, see the good days in it. Thrive.
This is the Just Live Festival. And this summer, we're going to conduct some interviews helping all of us see from some real people what it means to live fully alive or just live.
So a part of the Fully Alive revolution is people who are showing up, living fully alive, or on the journey to be fully alive. And as we are in community together, as we learn with and from each other, this is a spark for us to also see what fully alive looks like, even though each of us will do it in a completely different way.
So every week, we're going to download this to you, a couple or individual who, well, I don't know what they're, maybe a musician, maybe an online personality, but someone that's going to be able to say to you what it means for them to live fully alive. And here's the thing, not only are you going to hear about them, but if you want, you can get in contact with them.
Yeah, it will be so good. This week's special guest is Simon and Helene Brolund. They are from Denmark. We have known Simon for a number of years, and Helene, just getting to know her more and more, but them individually and as a couple we appreciate so much, especially in their authenticity. And they have just recently started something called the Authentic Friendship Network. It is a free resource option for you. We're going to hook you up to it. And they love to be authentic. They are people of values. They have strong values, strong rhythms, both individually and together. And we're going to hear about how they live fully alive.
So turn on your imagination. Be ready to be inspired. Grab a piece of paper. Get ready to take some notes, because this is Just Live Festival.
Thank you so much for joining us. And now on to Simon and Helene and amazing nugget bombs you're going to catch as a result of spending time right here with us. Your life is a remarkable story, an adventure that only you can create.
We exist to motivate and equip you to live fully alive.
Today in this Just Live Festival, we have Simon and Helene with us. We are so excited to just pick their brains and find out from them their example of living fully alive.
My name is Dan.
And my name is Susie. Together we are Duzie.
We're looking forward to a summer where we can spend hearing how other people live fully alive and maybe take some of those things and apply them to our own life. I'm going to be your coach during this, and Susie,
I'm going to be your interviewer,
yeah,
trying to connect and pull out of Simon and Helene today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. So who are you and what do you do?
I love the question, who are you? That's a big question.
That's great.
Who are you?
Well, I'm Simon, and this beautiful lady next to me is...
If you were wondering, Helene.
Right.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think we are people lovers.
Yeah,
we are Jesus lovers. We are entrepreneurs. We are passionate about life. And just see, and we're brave, I guess. That's part of who we are as well.
Yeah.
Trying to step into anything that comes our way and daring to take God's lead where he takes us.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, boiling it down, we love people. We just desperately love people. And we are desperately loving to see people step into everything that they're created for, whether that's in church or outside of church, seeing people step into their full potential. That really gets us going.
Yep.
And as a bonus, we have two amazing little kids as well, 9 and 5. That is definitely a big part of our lives.
So we're mom and dad as well.
That's true.
Yep. And we are heading up a company around authentic friendships and how to build authentic friendships as an adult. Because we see that it's part of living fully alive is having these amazing friendships. And honestly, so many people settle for less in this area or struggle, but there's nowhere to go. So we're trying to create that space.
Yeah, I love it. So years and years ago, I don't know how many, Simon, but we had something like called Imaginations, where we had youth workers from around the world come and live in our city with us in families nearby, and we intentionally invested in them for 6 weeks straight. It was really one of our best seasons of life. And Simon was in the first group coming from Denmark. We didn't have a clue who he was, but at the end of the time, we were besties and just really big fans of Simon. And he truly is a people lover of every type. And then when we went to visit him in Denmark, I can remember our first time, and that's when we sat in your cozy little house and we drank hot drinks in the evening. And we learned what, I don't even know how to say it, Hygie. I always say it wrong. We learned. Can you explain what that is? Because you gave us this mug. I still have it, and we still give it to people when we're having these cozy moments. But I think you've got to roll it out.
We just can't ever say it.
We can't say the word. We're like, it's this word or another pronunciation. But tell us what it is. It's so awesome.
The cup says "Hygge can change the world," and basically it's a Danish. It's the Danish theme of being together. When you have hygge, it's part of coziness, but it's a feeling. It's a feeling. And in Denmark, you cannot have that without the right lighting, without the right mood. It's almost like you need to have something in that cup and great people around you.
Food.
And Denmark food is definitely a thing.
So there's this cozy, but there's a mood around it.
Right.
It gives you a certain feeling in your body. When it's hygge, you know. You have to experience it a couple of times, and then you know, okay, this is hygge.
There it is.
And it's a good feeling.
Oh yeah,
right? Yeah, definitely.
Warm, cozy, well,
safe.
Yeah, to me, it actually represents you guys. So when I think of hygge, did I say it rightish?
Pretty good.
So when I think of hygge, I think of you, because you truly provided that atmosphere. And then more recently, you guys have started this Authentic Friendship Network, and it's a Facebook group. Free Facebook group that really helps people in their friendships. And this isn't like up at this level. This is like deep, real. And it's absolutely wonderful. I want to make sure that you guys tell how we can connect to that now or later, whatever you want. But I think you represent that. So I don't think you're just saying Authentic Friendship Network. You guys are it. And I think you are living what you're trying to promote. And that is truly living fully alive as well.
Yeah. And I think that fully resonates with us, that we feel like what we do is an overflow of who we are.
Yes.
It's come out of what can we not help but doing. It's really that kind of a journey we're on. It's what we do. So let's go ahead and explore that journey with you, with us, with people around us. And that's really exciting.
Yeah. Because we live in a world where it's so easy to get caught up in what we can do, what we should do, what must be done, what is building long term. But the whole thing, what can't we help doing? What is it that just naturally flows out of us? That is something to explore, but also something that's so beautiful to get to live out. And I think that we see that in you too as well, that you live out of who you are, and what you do comes from who you are, rather than, I believe you could do a million other things, very talented people right there.
Absolutely.
But that's not your heart or your passion. It's being connected with what God has put in, what flow has God put in us, what mandate has he put that we can't help doing.
Yeah.
I am looking so forward to this interview. Matter of fact, when we got the idea, we were in a pool in Las Vegas, and we had the idea for doing this summer festival of Just Live. And we said, well, who do we start with?
The chat needed to be like, what could happen between the four of us? We're like, okay, they gotta be it.
Wow.
So this is the standard. Everyone else has to match up against what's happening.
No pressure on everyone else.
I'm just saying we should go to that pool and continue the interview there instead.
I'd love
should
to.
we just meet there?
Okay, let's make a date. Let's do it. I'm in. Bring your kids. That would be awesome. So just as we continue, we're hearing your heart And I think that's a really important point that you just made as well. We live out of who we are. And that's a piece of this fully alive life. We actually have a fully alive revolution that we're trying to promote. And it basically is people who are living fully alive they're showing up, they're living out loud. I know that you're like, we want to get loud about this friendship. And it's really about being who we were created to be. And as we do that with each other, and you're promoting that with friendships, then we're like overflowing to each other. We're sparking. For me, when I see someone living fully alive, showing up, authentically being themselves, cutting loose, we call it lots of things, right? But when you're being that is really contagious. And we catch it. And that's what the Fully Alive Revolution is. And that's what this Just Live Festival is about, that you get to live fully alive, that you get to live this authentic life that God has given you, flowing out of who you are at the moment. You know, we never have perfect days, but at the moment, and being on that journey to live fully alive. That's fantastic. That's where it's at. So what does it look like for you, each of you, to live fully alive? Maybe you want to answer it individually, and then I'd love to hear together.
Oh, wow. I think for me, it's definitely part of what we're doing right now. I feel completely blessed that we as a couple get to chase what's in our hearts, and that we actually took this step and jumped in saying, you know what, we want to jump in the pool and run with what we feel like God's put in our hearts. And living fully alive is being in that tension, the tension between, I know what I'm chasing, and the tension of not knowing where this is going to take us, and living in that, and living together in that, and joining in as a family doing it. It's one of our passions, is that we are not just mom and dad doing our thing. We want to be a family on a mission. We want to be a family trying to change the world together. And it's one of those things. And seeing our 9-year-old saying, when I grow up, I want to be a friendship coach. Like, yeah, okay, kill me. So being in that tension of running towards it, that is what makes us feel fully alive. Seeing how that bubbles up, the excitement coming from that, and daring to be all that you're made to be.
Yeah.
May I just side note there that look how contagious you are right there. You're
There
doing
you
it, and your daughter's catching it.
Right.
Yeah.
So just for the listener out there, I just want you to hear what they're saying. Tension is not necessarily bad. Tension does not steal away your fully alive life. They're saying they embrace it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very much part of it.
I think we talk a lot about that living fully alive. And for me as well, there's something about daring to fit out.
Oh, yeah.
Daring to be who I am, and not having to cut something off. And that's vulnerable. And it is outside of the comfort zone to live fully alive. Because we don't live in a world that honors that. We live in a world that honors certain things that we are supposed to do or live up to, or like, this is how life should look. But fully alive is outside of the comfort zone, which is uncomfortable, but it's also a lot more fun.
Right.
And a lot more like the whole, I can feel I'm alive. Like, that's why people go, skydiving and stuff like that. I don't want to skydive to feel fully alive. I want to live my everyday life fully alive.
Yeah.
So I think that's the beautiful part of it. But it is really daring to take steps. And there's movement in this as well. Living fully alive is a process. It's an everyday journey. It's not something where I can go, yeah, I've chosen to live fully alive, so I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. Check. It is a choice to show up authentically, daring to fit out. Every time I fit out with my opinions or my life choices. And it's also risking judgment.
Yes.
Because people who want to fit me in the box, they're going to judge me and go, okay, they're really weird. They're like, what is going on there? And I can choose to live up to their expectations, or I can choose to just go, well, you're not the judge of where I want to go. I need to live as an overflow of who I am and what my heart longs for and where I feel God is leading me, rather than what you think I should do.
Wow. So good.
So well said. So many quotable snap, snap, snap. I can't write as fast as you say. And that is you, Helena. You always are so amazingly rich with word concepts. And you've given us so many nugget bombs right there we're going to catch and take.
Amazing.
Thank you.
I love, you guys are truly living fully alive. What about together? What does it look like for you to live fully alive together?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is also in terms of how we structure our days, of how we prioritize to start our days together, and making sure that we live a life where we're centered around our marriage, but also about being around our Creator. One of the first things that happen every morning is that we go and do our separate devotions, and then we check in and say, so what's God saying to you this morning? What's he saying to you? And we're praying together. So kind of making sure that we are this unity that this ring after all represents, and that we keep on connecting every single morning in that sense, and having that together. And I firmly believe that makes us able to be who we are individually, because we also connect as the unity that we have decided to be. So I think it's definitely a big part of it that we start our mornings like that together, deciding to go out. Yeah. What do you think, babe?
Celebrating each other's differences.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Acknowledging and loving the differences. And respecting the things that we do not understand about each other.
That's not me.
The things that I have feelings that Simon doesn't get. I feel feelings all around my body. And sometimes he's just like, oh, so you're feeling a feeling in your shoulders. Okay, honey, I get it.
She's a woman.
but he respects it. So it's being loved for who I am, with all of who I am.
Right.
And I think that's why we also love talking about friendships, because that's a great friendship with us, but it's also other friendships we have. It's part of being loved for who I am, gives me courage to show up as who I am. And I can't live fully alive if I don't show up as who I am.
Wow.
So it's sometimes we think that we need to, like, we live in a culture that talks so much about self-development. Well, you need to figure out who you are so you can show up as who you are. But when I'm loved and safe in relationships, that also gives me courage to explore who I am.
Yeah, so good.
So I don't think we can show up without friendships.
Yeah. One of the things I often say to people is one of the greatest studies you can do is study yourself, so you can understand this God that created you in his image and show up. And that's beautiful.
It's a study of God in and through us. And I love, you've already gotten into our next section about what rhythms or habits do you have to be fully alive. And I heard you already say you have your God time. So you've got that unity with God, and then your unity with each other, and then celebrating your differences and allowing each of you to be authentically you. Yeah. But then you come together as a bonus example, because you are two unique and very unique people individually, but coming together is a multiplication, not just an addition. And I love that you make that intentional, not only with your friendships out there, which I know you do, but you do it with each other as well.
Yes.
Are there any other rhythms or habits, everybody calls it different, that you do personally together to make sure that you are living fully alive, fully celebrating your differences and grounded and rooted in the love of Jesus, as you just talked about?
Rhythms and habits.
Yeah. We have a habit that is, when we have an emotional reaction, we take time to explore it. And that also helps us to live fully alive. So it's like, okay, something's going on, and we have respect in our friendship that needs to be there. That's a habit that when it comes up, we need to deal with it. We also have a habit of not stopping to talk until we we are actually done. So I think, but that habit of actually respecting and giving time and putting effort into working with ourselves as part of being fully alive together and fully alive apart. Because if we don't connect with each other, that's one of our sayings is also, we can only connect as deeply with others as we can with ourselves. So we have to take time to connect, to actually work it out and really work it out, and not just work it out on the surface of what's going on.
Yeah. And I think another one that's, we've of course, as a couple, stepped into a season now where we started building a company together. So we're not just building church together and being parents together. We're also building a company together. So some will say we're crazy, but we just love it. But that means we actually started, and maybe we are crazy, but we actually started a fairly new habit where we every week sit down and we ask each other a few simple questions where we just go, and one of them is, did we have fun this week? Did we do it different? Did we make a difference this week? Or did we work on being good parents this week? How did it go with being healthy this week?
How did we use our time?
How do we use our time?
Prioritize our time. So we evaluate every week.
Exactly. Just sitting down and saying, did we actually do what we want to do in our lives this week? And I know for some will be like, okay, that may be crazy to do that every week. Could you do it once a year? But for us, just kind of being
we can drift so much in a year from that.
Sure. But just taking that time is actually been a great way of looking. And the good thing about doing it once a week is also that if you've drifted a little bit away, you can just steer clear, because you have that pile marker that you want to aim for. And if you do it every week, you're sure that you're not getting too far away. So that's definitely one of our newer rhythms that is a massive help. But it's also nice to celebrate. We did a good week. We did what we wanted. Okay, this week we didn't. All right, let's get back on up on that horse. And so I think that is definitely a massive thing for us in this season of our lives. Yeah.
And that reminds
me. So I heard some of your values there. Just 1 second. I heard your values: fun, making a difference, being good parents, health, and using your time wisely. And you are inspecting those weekly. That is an amazing rhythm for fully aliveness, to make sure you're still going what you're truly valuing. Go ahead, Helena.
Yeah. Fitness, like working out, is also one of the things that we focus on, just because we know that our bodies need to function well. But also, it just, for me at least, I needed to regulate my emotions. To be honest, to not have low-grade anxiety creep in and stuff like that, I need to work out. So we need that to be healthy. And then I think for us, it's not a focus, and it might be because of the food culture we have in Denmark, but eating healthy is a value. I just don't think we think so much about it, because doing things from scratch and everything is just, that's the norm in Denmark, right? But it's definitely something that we focus on, to eat healthy as well, and not be addicted to sugar, and not be like, how is our body working and our brains working?
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to interrupt this incredible interview for a moment. I know you're the interview, but I want to ask you one question. So what does a great day look like?
Yep.
What does a great day look like?
I think we've touched on.
This is a continuation.
Well, you're the interviewer.
This is a continuation
I'm
of where
sitting
we're
here
going.
thinking, okay, but what does a great day look like?
For you guys.
Well, first off, a value, and this is actually another value. We're not in a hurry.
Wow. Yeah.
I think we're present. A good day looks like being present. And I think that we can fill so many great activities into our lives, but if we're not present with them, it can just be chores or something we need done. We're actually mindful of our language. Instead of talking about we need to get this done and get this done and get this done, we talk about we're going to do this and we're going to do this. Being in the activity rather than getting it done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's a big part of a good day, is actually being present in what we do, what's in that day.
Right.
Can I just jump in here? Because I know you guys are hot on the Enneagram. You're currently doing it in your Authentic Friendship Network, and doing a great job, by the way. Dan is an Enneagram 3, and I'm an Enneagram 7, and we are called the Jet Set. Some people call it.
Yeah.
You guys are the same, aren't you?
Yes.
3 and 7.
We just
3 and
switched.
7.
Yeah.
So this just this value that you place on not getting it done, which is really a little bit in conflict with your natural wiring for your
That is not a
Enneatype
3 thing. Yeah, 3 thing
Yeah,
is get stuff done, right?
Yeah. So how do you make that happen? This is like, what? How is this going on?
I think there's a mindset shift to it because making sure that you don't just run through everything and getting off the checklist. The thing is, you might get a lot of things done, but how do you get them done? Are they actually done in a way that lives up to your values? So I think there is a mind shift change saying, do I get them all done, or do I get them done in the right way? And when the value is that we want to have fun while we do it, it doesn't serve us right that we want to go on a vacation. So you got to hurry up, pack everything together, get everyone in the car. You shut up, be quiet, get in the car. It's like, okay, so that could happen. How do we get into that mode and think, well, that was nice. Now we're on vacation. Have fun. No. So rewinding that, because that has happened too many times for us to count, but say that's not how we want to do it. So let's take it back and say, how do we do it properly? And so often it is actually saying, you know what, let's be present in this moment. Let's make sure that we take out some of the hurry, we take out some of the conflict, and just be in it. And so I think it's definitely been part of it, saying what fruit is coming out of the hurry and what fruit is coming out of being present. And it's just almost never good fruit out of hurry. I'm sorry.
I think also just doing things differently, like doing things slower. When I can feel the energy in my body building up when I'm in a hurry. And then I start speaking slower and I start moving slower. And I have the conversation with myself. What is it I can't do if I'm not going to hurry? I actually had that conversation with Jesus this morning because we are going on vacation in 2 days. And they are like a million things. I'm like, what do we need to drop to do things in the right? So there's something about planning as well. And then there's another thought that really is really big for me at the moment around time is we talk a lot about spending time goes by. We talk a lot about, okay, you've gotten 70 years. How are you going to use them?
I love this one.
And actually, I read a book. It's called What Happens When You Rest. And he flips it around and said, what if we look at time as not something we're spending, but as something that's coming to us? Like a little brook where it just comes to us. So every moment is given to us. So instead of being born with the cookie jar full of cookies, and every day we take a cookie out of it, and we're like, how do I spend this cookie today? We actually
cookies.
We have the jar, we have the life. What? Yeah, I do too.
Cookies.
I love cookies. But we get a cookie every day to spend, to use, to enjoy. And we can put it like memories, experiences, what we get to do in the jar. And it's such a small thought of turning it around. And I even talked to someone today that said in Ethiopia, they don't say time goes by, they say time comes. And the whole feeling that God, every moment is given to you rather than you receive this big package and now you're spending it every day. And that really makes a difference for me in how I relate to time and to what's been given to me and just to the whole scarcity mindset about how much time do I have left. And then one day the brook is going to take me out to the sea and I'm going to float around in God's presence, which is amazing. But until then, it comes to me. And I become so much more grateful for every moment, even when I'm doing the dishes and the laundry.
That's great.
This is radical thinking, actually. This is not, this is very counterculture. I think you guys are living very counterculture anyways, but that's an amazing thing, just about time, about what you're valuing, about even how you talk about the presence and your language in it. So you must have bad days. How do you live fully alive in the bad days or those difficult moments?
So I'm looking at my watch because it's been about an hour and 15 minutes since
Because
We didn't communicate that well. And
You're timing it out, are you?
it's been one of those days. No. But it's part of life, isn't it? I think it's part of
also being fully alive.
embracing that you are a human being and we are flawed. And until we are floating in that sea with God, until we are back home, there will be those days. And how do we then actually decide to react in it? And we had miscommunication in the kitchen about chicken and
being in a hurry, by the way,
and what to put in the salad or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But we're committed to actually looking each other in the eyes and holding hands and saying, okay, let's talk this through.
Yeah.
Let's get there. And then I think the beauty of being committed in each other's lives is I know when I have a bad day, it's all right because I'm loved. And for me to actually open my mouth and say, babe, this is one of those days. I'm sorry. I'm not in tune with myself. It feels like I'm someone else, just so you know, and vice versa. I think it's just part of the human condition, but being brave enough to actually say, you know, these are one of my days. I will try to look inward. I'll try to work with it, but have some grace for me as well. And I think it's not trying to be human, no, superhuman, not trying to be Superman, just saying, I am just human, right? Yeah.
I actually think that we need to, like, bad days is part of being fully alive. Actually, I think you have, because if you want to feel full happiness, you also have to feel full sorrow.
Oh, wow.
Because life is more vulnerable. When you live fully alive, you're not armored up, protecting yourself. And you get access to immense joy, immense gratitude.
Right.
But that also means that you really, like, you get hurt. You get rejected.
Yes.
So fully alive is the highs and the lows. So it's not a counter thing. It's part of living fully alive. And I think we have to have a mindset around that.
Yeah.
And it's a shift. Fully alive is not all happiness and confetti, right? Fully alive is fully alive with acknowledging my faults and my hurts and my sorrows and anything that, like, my struggles and my core things that I fell into the hole again.
Yeah.
And being in touch with that and not trying to suppress it, because that's the thing about feeling alive and even emotions. If I want the highs, I need to take the lows, because if we have zero here, we can do like this, or we can do like this. But you can't choose to only take a little bit of the bad and then a lot of the good. That's not how it works.
I prefer it like that, but I know it's not reality.
This is where we sometimes get pushback, because we'll talk to people about living fully alive every day. And they're like, well, there's some days you just can't because it's a bad day. And I think of, you look at the Old Testament, you look at Joshua, and you look at Joseph, you look at Daniel, you look at these guys, and they had great days and bad days. And yet there was
you're talking
this
about,
journey of wholeness in life. And I think what you've said about being present.
Oh,
it's stepping into that moment and even going back and remembering some of those moments an hour and a half ago that weren't so good, and finding the life there, because I think life is everywhere if we will just look. And I love that yes, bad days are great times to live fully alive.
I know that you're
and
doing
God
that.
is present in all of them.
Sure.
Yep. I know that you're
so
doing that.
in there.
Excuse me, you go for it.
Sorry. No. It was just that point.
You're rolling.
You're
rolling.
God's presence.
Yeah.
It's just a thought about God's presence, that he is not more or less there when we have a bad day or a good day.
No.
Yep.
And do we living fully alive? And this is a practice. I'm not necessarily good at this, but it's a mindset that, do we live focused on what we do or who we get to do it with? Because if we shift our focus, because isn't it incredible? We can live every day, every second, aware of God's presence in our lives. Doing the dishes, cleaning up vomit, changing diapers, you name it, when we are sick. But do we focus on what's happening here on earth that we do? Or do we focus on who we're actually doing it with?
So
And that is fully alive.
I'm feeling the Jesus love coming right
Coming in,
through.
coming in.
We're catching it.
Whoosh.
And that is truly your foundation individually, together. I'm hearing that. This is echoing over and over again. And this makes a difference. You're talking about being authentic with the full range of emotions and not just these high ones, but also taking the low ones. And I know that in your Authentic Friendship Network, you are also teaching and journeying with people to help people know how to do that with their friends, maybe with spouses, with people that you are just meeting. Tell us about the 3 levels of where we can go with people. You talk about like experiences, and then you've got this really cool thing that you guys always roll out. Tell us about it, because I think this is part of living fully alive as well.
It is. We say that there are 3 different layers going on in every situation. There's the situation that you can observe, the sounds, the movements, the colors, whatever's going on, a car's driving by, or we have this, I'll give you an example afterwards. Then underneath that, when you are in a situation, there are feelings and thoughts that arise. And those are individual. So you can say you share maybe the experience, but thoughts and feelings that arise are different from people. And even on a deeper level is your core motivation, your core fears, the story about who you want to be, the dreams of your life, and the values. And these values and core fears and core motivations will affect how you think and feel about a situation. So when you want to meet someone on the deepest level, you have to get all the way down to the deepest level of where they live from, rather than what they just experienced. And it's so easy to talk about. We have this example: if someone gets a promotion, one person might feel really happy because they think it's the way forward, because they have some values around advancement, and they have this image that they want to succeed and they want to make a lot of money. But another person that gets this promotion might feel worried or feel that it's overwhelming because they have a value of family life balance, and how does that work with work life, and because they have a core value around that, or even a story that they're the ones that are there for their kids all the time, or whatever going on. And so because we are wired so different, we have to be aware of these values if we want to connect.
Yes.
So good.
That's really, I just love that. And if we could all have that in our perspective of life for ourselves, for our friendships, I think this is also a very deep foundational level for fully alive life as well.
I think we could build a course on every single thing you guys are saying.
Every
because
drop,
it's
yes. It's really
So
very
good.
deep and powerful.
Great. You'll have to share that with us so we can make more of that.
Sure. Yeah, because it's actually your genius. You have no clue that it's just flow. I mean, you do have a clue, but you don't have a clue of the richness of it, and how actually how fully alive it is, and how, as you share this from the depths of your being, from your core motivations and what you're living for, people are benefiting from it. There is a ripple effect, and that's kind of the way that we love to see it. When we drop ourselves in a space, whatever sphere of influence we have right now, and we show up fully alive with the depth that we're talking about here today, there is kingdom ripple effect, and there is life ripple effect. There is friendship ripple effect. Even if people don't actually engage with us on a deep friendship or a consistent friendship level, we get to catch it from each other. And I know you guys are promoting that. So what life lesson do you wish you could tell your younger self? You know, we're not spring chicks anymore. And if you could tell your younger self a lesson that you are currently learning or have learned that's made a difference, what would it be?
Do you have one?
I think there's many. I think I would honestly have told myself 20 years ago to slow down, to be present in what you're doing right now. I was a walking, talking example of FOMO in so many ways, and you know, just wanted a bit of everything going around and just wanted a piece of the cake, no matter where it was, all flavors at one time. But to say, you know what, just be present, just be right here. You're not missing out. You're just being you. I would have told myself that.
Yeah.
Keep listening.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I would have told myself that the most beautiful part of me is my heart and who I am on the inside. And honestly, to just let go of impressing people. And what's so interesting here when I listen to us is that we're talking to our Enneagram core fears and core motivations.
Yeah.
More or less. And I think that could be and that's why we use the Enneagram as well, because we feel it just sets such and I know you guys too and love it. And I love how you're promoting it and working with it, because it really gives us a perspective of where we need healing, where we really need God's love, and where we need to counter some lies that we're living from.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, we've got a lot of listeners that are watching this, and they're like me saying, I want to get to know those guys.
More of Simon and Helena, please.
So how do people get in contact with you?
We have, to be honest, we have two social media hashtags, and they are both just Simon and Helena on Facebook and on Instagram. So Simon and Helena on both Instagram and Facebook. If you want to join our community, it's Facebook groups. So facebook.com/groups, and then the Authentic Friendship Network. And then you can just sign into our group there and find us. But anywhere you find us online, write us a DM, poke us, whatever it is, and we'll definitely love to connect with you.
Yeah.
And you're going to notice them. They stand out in this beautiful, bright growth green.
Growth green.
It's growth green. And the Authentic Friendship Network, I am a connections genius, and I love friendships, and I invest every day in friendships. And every time I go on their Authentic Friendship Network, I learn so much. So I can't more highly recommend that you jump on. It's an incredibly free resource. I know you have paid levels as well, but every week they jump on with valuable stuff, and you're currently in the midst of the Enneagram. And you can go back in the group and watch replays of any of the subjects that really interest you. I can't more highly recommend it. Simon and Helena are doing a fantastic, fully alive, ripple effect, present job in the world. Not a job. I don't want to say job. Present.
Maybe
trying
you
to
just
use
say
your terminology.
You're living life fully alive.
Yeah.
And the thing that I see just listening to you today is that your focus is to just live.
Right.
To live with each other, to live with your friendships, to live with your children, to live when it doesn't go well, and to live when it does, to live 5 minutes before you go on vacation and when you get there. And so for all of you, I just want to say, that's what Jesus is speaking over us.
Yes.
My children, my son, my daughter, just live.
It has been amazing to have this chat with you. A little hygge. Did I get it sort of right?
Yeah.
Hygge. A little hygge together. I hope you've also felt warm and cozy. I know that I feel more fully alive as a result of just having this connection, this intentional connection together with you guys. I can't wait for what God continues to roll out in and through you. You are making a kingdom effect. I love your life, your relationship, and the impact that you're making in the world. Thank you so much for sharing this with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So may you live fully alive.
As you love your life, your world, and your God. My name's Dan.
And my name is Susie. Together we are Duzie.
Live fully.
And love fully.
Amazing
Thanks
interview.
so much. That was awesome.
I'm inspired.
I am
really
totally,
inspired.
so many nugget bombs, right?
Tension. That whole idea of tension. And for me, the bad days, still living fully alive, it includes all the emotions.
Hygge can change the world, like creating that space, that environment with people by showing up who you are, because we can't live without being who we are.
And I love the whole idea there's a new view of time. Don't be in a hurry. I think this is the key for living fully alive.
Be present.
Be present.
And also, I think another nugget bomb for me in my notes here is the 3 layers when we're engaging with people, that you can observe a situation and be here. Thoughts and feelings are deeper, but the core motivations, the story of you and your values, that's where we want to go with people. And as we express these levels of ourselves personally, we get to show up fully alive in the lives of others as well. I love these learning nuggets.
Yeah, so our hope for you this summer is that you just live.
Thanks so much for being a part of the Just Live Festival. More to come in the coming weeks.